Setting up the software in the bchjs hard drive is pretty straightforward if you've ever used a Linux machine or command line tool. The basic process is the same for all of them. You're going to unzip the data and then download, it should come with the Docker container already installed, so it's really a matter of building the Docker container or downloading the image and then running it against the data that was zipped. So the hard drive is going to have a directory structure just like this. And let me just show you. And then there's also this link here, which will take you to sort of a DevOps cheat sheet. This has really handy commands for creating swap space, installing Node.js, installing Docker and Docker Compose, as well as a few other things. So look for that link right here. But basically, if you have a command line and so if you have the command line access to the hard drive, here's an example just to show on the web page. I'm in the indexers folder, and I'm going to go into the block book, and I'm going to go into testnet. Each directory is going to look like this. It's going to have the Docker container code in a folder and then the zip file. So step one, going back to the web page here, step one is to unzip the data. And that's going to take a while. And one trick you can do so that you don't have to wait around, I'm just going to remove that data file or directory I started to unzip. There's this little tip called nohup, and then ampersand at the background to send it to the background. And you can monitor the progress by following this nohup command. And this way, if you're on a remote connection and you get disconnected accidentally, the nohup command will make the command continue even though you get disconnected. So give this some time to unzip. This will take time depending on how fast your system is and whether you're using USB 3.0 or not. And so I'll come back to this once it finishes unzipping.
So unzipping files is going to take a few minutes, and once it's done, you'll have a file. Typically, it will be labeled data. And then at that point, you can change directory into the Docker container, or into the Docker directory. Now, this is a GitHub repository, so if you want to get the latest code, you want to use the git pull command, and it'll reach out, and in this example, it's already up to date. And then you're expected to have Docker and Docker Compose installed, and I already mentioned how to find the instructions for that. You can inspect this Docker Compose file, and right now most of them build from a Docker file in the directory, and you can see it right here, Docker file. But really all you need to do, I'm switching it to images, but all you need to do is Docker Compose up/d, and that will start the Docker container. The -d means in daemon mode. And that's all you need to do to go through and start each of your infrastructure. Just like it says here on the toolkit info page, you want to unzip the data, download and run the Docker container, and you're going to do that for each layer of the stack. And it's important that you understand what the stack is. So if you go up here, you can view the diagrams for each of the stacks. So you want to start at the bottom of the stack and work your way up. So start the full node to begin with, then start the indexers that you want to use, and then once those are up and running, you can start the Bitcoin Cash API. And I'll make another video on the monitor, the health monitor, that will run periodically, and it's a web page that you can check that will just tell you very quickly if your infrastructure is up and running correctly. I'll do another video on that.